My name is Nigel Featherbottom Esquire Mornay, and I am here to recount a most wonderful play. In a time long ago when things were more civil. Oh, maybe not civil, but life was more simple. Women tended the house as men set out and labored. They worked and they worked in a most diligent flavor. And when the work was done and the house was neater, families of all kinds would gather in the theatre. The poor and the rich alike all fancied the atmosphere, as they sat in their chairs and enjoyed the work of Shakespeare. However, I must say something before I start. This story I tell will not be for the faint of heart. If you're expecting a happy ending, you can leave the theatre now. The door is wide open and happy to let you out. For those who stayed, now we can finally begin. I believe it is time to release the Kraken. The story begins as dukes in the palace gather in three. Duke Norfolk, Duke Buckingham and Duke Abergavenny. They chit-chat amongst each other and begin to catch up. Buckingham was sick on the toilet and missed the king's match-up. They continue to talk and gossip in glee. But the attitude changes when someone brings up Wolsey. "Oh, that Wolsey," cries Buckingham, "that man does too much. His heart is cold, but all the king sees is a soft touch." "Give the man a chance," responds Norfolk, as he tries to defend. "He's not of noble birth, but he's still a royal friend." No. The cardinal takes, and he's playing us all. One day he's going to be the reason we all fall. As luck would have it, Wolsey enters the room soon after, ever so grimace. Buckingham and Wolsey stare each other down like it's nobody's business. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Wolsey hands Buckingham a paper and here begins their strife. Buckingham is sure Wolsey is plotting against him and heads to the king. If anyone's going to be doing the gossiping, it's going to be him. Wolsey is a treacherous man who works for Charles V and King of Spain. For Wolsey, honor and loyalty are nothing more than a game. But before he can arrive, Buckingham is arrested at the gate. "We have orders for your arrest. It is up to the king to decide your fate." However, as it would have it, it is Wolsey who is behind the arrest. "Thanks, Wolsey," says the king. "You have saved my life and you're the best." The queen arrives and they discuss political matters. "Just go do the thing," bellows the king. No need for unwanted chatter. The surveyor enters the room, the man running the estate of Buckingham. He spills to the king what he believes Buckingham planned. The surveyor tells him of how Buckingham planned to take the throne when the king finally died. The king is appalled, casts Buckingham as a traitor and insists he must be tried. The next day, Wolsey throws a commemorative dinner. The word spreads, and the amount of guests get bigger. Shepherds from France even come to crash the party. And soon enough the king himself joins, drunken and hardy. The married king lays his eyes on beautiful Anne Boleyn, and feels approaching her would be just right. The two hit it off, dance, and even share a kiss before the end of the night. The next day, Buckingham has already been tried and sentenced to death. He is led out by guards and is given one last chance to repent. He admits nothing, and blames the whole situation on that Wolsey, who lied to the king. Buckingham once stood as a duke, but now he's been stripped to nothing. "Be careful who you trust," preaches Buckingham, "for you never know who's actually your friend." Buckingham is then led away by the guards to meet his final end. Back in the court, Norfolk and Suffolk are talking about the possible divorce of King Henry and his wife Catherine. They believe it was actually Wolsey who gave Henry the idea of divorce, because he had his own personal mission. Meanwhile, Anne and her advisor talk about the downfall of the Queen. "I can't believe what's happening to her," recites Anne. "It seems so mean. I don't think I could do it. I couldn't be the queen of the country." "Of course you could," reminds her advisor, "and you would do it so humbly." The queen finally confronts her husband about what she's heard. "Please, my love, tell me what I could do better to change your words." Wolsey looks to Catherine and tells her to just give up. Catherine looks back to Wolsey and blames him for making her marriage a muck. "I have been a faithful and honorable wife, and the only thing that will make me give up being queen is the ending of my life." Norfolk, Suffolk, Lord Chamberlain and a man named Surrey gather. They begin to plan on how to deal with Wolsey's cunning manners. "We must cut his ties with the king, for it is the only way. Yes, yes. We must play dirty, it is the only way to play." We have learned that Wolsey urged the Pope to deny the divorce of Catherine. However, things have taken a different turn and he has already married his mistress Anne. Soon, Henry begins to grow suspicious of Wolsey and what's been said of him. When confronted, Wolsey claims it is merely a spiritual matter, for Anne is Lutheran. "My father gave you everything you have, don't forget it, Wolsey." Of course, my king, never, I'll never forget his generous deeds. But even before he can lie some more, the king shows him letters that were intercepted from the Pope that will even the score. The papers show all the money that Wolsey has stolen, and with it, all the oaths that the cardinal has broken. Backed against the wall, Wolsey knows in his head his career has soured. However, he doesn't admit it and runs to his house to coward. He locks himself in and calls the dukes greedy, and for some reason, still believes he can win the king's loyalty. The dukes gather in the street to await the coronation of the new queen. Anne Boleyn proves to the commoners how she was meant for royalty. Catherine, watching from her apartments, asks her attendants about the death of Wolsey. After finally being arrested, he died very broke and very sickly. Catherine has nothing but the things to be said, but her attendant reminds her that despite his intentions he was once a kind and generous man, and she once called him her friend. During the middle of a council meeting, enters Dr. Butts. Yes, it's actually his name. I can't make this stuff up. The meeting is called to fight for Cranmer's loyalty. Cranmer is accused of being a Protestant and being against the royalty. However, the king reminds the council that Cranmer is his most loyal man. Come on, guys, why can't we all just be friends? He turns to Cranmer and asks him to baptize his daughter. It disappoints him greatly that Anne didn't birth him a son, but he's still the baby's father. The whole town has gathered to see the christening of baby Elizabeth, who believed that her birth would be England's greatest gift. Cranmer speaks that Elizabeth will bring England to prosperity and promised great things. And she will be reborn a phoenix when she dies a virgin. So that is the story, and I know it was a bore. Maybe you were hoping for vengeance, or resolution or more. Or maybe you came to sleep but you found it hard to... Honestly, if you came to nap I wouldn't blame you. But the women must have liked it, for the women in the play are portrayed strong. And if the women loved it, then the men have to pretend and play along.